Hello, this is Catherine, as I know I need to stop talking. Hello, my loves, how are we doing? It's Sunday, and the sun is shining, which is very exciting. It feels like it's pissed it down all week here. I know lots of you have probably been lucky enough to have snow this week if you're in the UK. I can't describe how livid Beth is that we seem to live in the one part of the UK that probably in her lifetime has seen snow once. She is furious. So if you're out there enjoying fragrant, falling, beautiful snow, think of Beth in all her fury. She's livid with you. Absolutely livid. But yes, the sun is shining, and it's just as well, really, isn't it? Because I don't know about anybody else. I'm feeling it this week. I am feeling like 12 months of pandemic. I feel we've done pandemic. I feel like I've got ticked pandemic level on whatever set of top trumps or levelling up I need to do. I feel like it's time for something else. And from the post that I put onto Facebook this morning, it seems like I am not alone in that, which is both sad because lots of people are feeling the same way, but also there is a great, I don't know what the word is, assurance, kind of comfort, I suppose, in knowing that we're not alone. And I think that's so important. I think we've had this real narrative, and it's a classic stip up a lip thing, like everything's fine, everything's okay. And I think one of the most important things any of us can do right now to one another is actually acknowledge, I'm not fine, I'm not okay, things are really hard at the minute. We do a great job of trying to minimise our own tough times, our own grief, and it's understandable at the minute because all those of you who are out there working on the front line for our NHS in unbelievably tough circumstances, and thank you so much for everything that you do. All those who are living in abject poverty, those who've lost their jobs, those who have lost loved ones. And it's very easy for those of us who acknowledge our own privilege to minimise how we're feeling, but I'm not sure that serves anybody particularly well, because I don't think it improves things for those groups of people that I've just talked about. But I sit here and I genuinely worry about the mental health crisis I think perhaps the world is sitting on the brink of. And as we all know with mental health, one of the most important things we can do is to talk about it, to make it as acceptable as physical health, to stand up and say, I'm not okay right now, and it's okay not to be okay. And as and when we're ready, there's loads of support and help available, but it's also okay not to be quite ready for that support and just to need to acknowledge things are not okay with me right now. So if you're struggling, I promise you you are not alone. And if you get a chance and haven't already seen it, go and have a look at some of the comments on the post I posted this morning, because so many people in the same boat. And let's not minimise how we're feeling at the minute. Things are tough, things are hard work. And there's lots of green shoots on the horizon, there's lots of positivity. My bulbs are coming up in my garden, which is the perfect analogy for all of the vaccination programmes going on out there. But you hear the numbers, and I would be the first to criticise our government, but I do think so far, touch wood, they are doing a lot right when it comes to the vaccination programme. So lots of positivities, lots of green shoots, and I think if you're anything like me, it probably feels a little bit dangerous to start to hope, doesn't it? Because we've done that a lot of times over the past year, when we thought maybe this is it, last summer, maybe this is it, maybe we've done, maybe the pandemic's over, and of course it's come back with a vengeance. But I think just starting to listening to some of the positive sound bites out there, starting to feel like our amazing, brilliant, clever scientists and clever medics have done the most unbelievable work in an incredibly short period of time. There are definitely green shoots out there. But in the meantime, it is absolutely okay. It's more than okay. I think it's helpful to other people to say, I'm struggling right now. I think that's not only okay, that's a really positive thing to do. So if that's you, I send you lots and lots of love, and I want you to know you are absolutely categorically not alone. And it can feel really difficult, can't it, with the backdrop of a pandemic, to feel like you have any sense of control about what's around the corner or what the next few days, weeks, even hours might hold for any of us. But I've definitely been concentrating on focusing on the little things to make me smile, and there are lots of those. So great excitement sitting at my new desk, which I told you about last week. Well, we have an update on the new desk, because I now have a motherfucking pink chair. Actually, yes, a pink office chair. It makes me so happy. It's like a pink velvety. It's just lovely. It's just a thing of loveliness. Not only that, we have wooden floors in our house, and I didn't want to trash the wooden floors. At least that was my argument. I also really, really wanted an excuse to buy myself the most outrageously pink faux fur rug you have ever seen. It is ridiculous. It's like if the Cookie Monster got into a fight with a packet of marshmallows, and it's a joy. It's an utter joy. I'm sitting here right now at my desk on my pink chair with my feet on my pink furry rug, which, fair play to Mr. I Know I Need to Stop Talking, he's tolerated very effectively. Amusingly, the cats are terrified of the rug, really terrified. All three of them will walk up to it, have a look at it, but they won't cross it. Like, I could put a piece of chicken on the other side of the rug, which would usually have them sprinting a la Usain Bolt to get to the finish line first. They would all go round the edge. They do not trust the pink rug. But the pink rug is underneath my feet, and it's soft and it's furry, and the sun is coming in through the windows. So there's definitely those little things to make us all smile. Frankly, I had a dream of Saturday night last night, an absolute dream. So dry January, incredibly, is still going strong because I'm very stubborn. So dry January is absolutely going strong. And so, well, I say that like I would otherwise be going out on the town. Clearly, I would be sitting in my house on a Saturday night, regardless of whether or not I was doing dry January. Just the difference would be in terms of the amount of glasses of wine I would have in my hand. So clearly, dry January hasn't actually made a difference to my Saturday nights. But last night, what a treat. So I, as I think most of you know, used to be an actor back in the dim and distant days. I've still got lots of friends working in live theatre. And oh my goodness me, I miss live theatre so much. I think when I kind of finished drama school and pulled the plug on that career, it was always done so with a bit of a sense of, but I can still get my live theatre fix because I can go and I can watch live theatre and I can be immersed in everything. And I've still got loads of friends working in the industry. But of course, COVID has decimated the performing arts and the music industry. I mean, I am genuinely fearful for what post-pandemic holds for that industry, with so many freelancers, so many people who will have seen their livelihoods disappear over the last few months. But what lots of the theatres have been doing is they've started more and more to stream performances, which I think is just brilliant anyway, because I think going to the theatre is expensive, particularly in London. I'm very lucky we live near enough to London that I can go regularly. I'm in the fortunate position to be able to buy tickets, but for loads of households far away from London or on lower incomes, you're just completely cut out of the joys of going to the theatre. So it's been a real delight to see more and more companies stream live theatre. And, last night I paid, I think it was £20, which for me is an absolute bargain to see live theatre, and had Leicester Curve's performance of Sunset Boulevard screened to my front room. And weirdly, it was exactly 3 years to the day that Jamie and I had gone to see it when it was touring, so we'd actually gone to see it with the same cast. And it was just phenomenal. It's my favourite musical, unashamedly. It's my absolute favourite musical. And it was done so well, and the cast was so brilliant, and it was just such a delight to see that big element of my life that's been weirdly missing for so long, to see kind of live theatre coming to the fore and hopefully making it accessible to more people. £20 for a family ticket versus, I don't know what you'd pay if you took a family to see something in the theatre at London, but with hotels and trains or whatever, you could be upwards of £200 easily. So I hope that stuff like that continues, and it was a joy, and it properly made me smile. So to everybody involved in that cast, thank you, and crew and orchestra, thank you so much. It was an utter delight. Children had two very, very mixed responses to it, and I think I've said on here before that Beth has not typically been a fan of live theatre, despite the fact she has two parents who are actors. She's not been a fan of live theatre. One of my lasting memories of Beth's younger childhood was every single fucking show we went to see, she would fall asleep. You think I'm exaggerating? I'm genuinely not. I've got so many photographs of me holding Beth who's fallen asleep halfway through a show. Now, in the evenings, you could kind of argue, okay, fair enough, because it's late and she was staying up past her bedtime, fair enough. When she was, I think, 7 for her birthday, her and Jamie wanted to go and see The Lion King in London. So dutifully, I booked tickets. I was like, it's their birthday, we're going to splash out. I'd seen The Lion King before, it's a brilliant show. I was like, we'll splash out, we're going to sit in the middle of the dress circle, we're going to a matinee so Beth won't fall asleep. So we sat down, we'd even managed to get Mr. I Know I Need to Stop Talking to come along. We sat down, the show starts, it's phenomenal, it's really loud, West End Theatre, it's really loud. We're about half an hour into the first half, and Beth turns to me, she sat next to me, she goes, Mum, and I'm like, shh, it's live theatre, shush. She's like, yeah, can you get them to pause it now? Because I'm going to have a sleep. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Live theatre, you want me to pause it? It doesn't work like that. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to have a sleep anyway. And so it was that my daughter missed out on her birthday present because she has the ability to go to sleep anytime, any place, anywhere, promptly turned to her side, cuddled up to me, shut her eyes, was asleep within about 30 seconds and slept through till the end of the curtain call. So never take Beth to the theatre is my advice. She manages to stay awake through shows right now, but she's no more impressed. So Jamie watched it with me last night and he's great. He'll watch anything and he really enjoyed it. And Beth had been wandering in and out of the room and clearly wasn't massively engaged. So I said to her at the end, I said, what did you think of that? And she was like, I didn't like it. And I was like, okay, well, what was your favourite bit? And she thought for a moment and she looked me straight in the eye. She went, my favourite bit was right just then when it came up and it said, the end. I mean, she's brutal. She's brutal. So yeah, don't take Beth to the theatre anytime soon. So that was last night. So that was a delight. And we've been doing, I think I've said before, we've been doing loads of walking as well because it's a great way, obviously, to get exercise, keep fit. It's so good for your mental health, just getting outside, even on a really shitty, pissy day, which, let's be honest, it's January. There are more shitty, pissy days than not. But I went out with the children yesterday afternoon, which was as random a delight as always, because they talked about anything and everything. I will come on to our primary conversation topic shortly. We passed there, we were walking through the town, and we passed a lady who was out running with her little girl. And I mean, they were going great guns. Like, this little girl must have been about 4 and she was running much faster than I could get anywhere close. And they walked past us and Jamie's there with us and he's like, run, Forrest, run. Well, I think Jamie thought he said this a little bit quieter than he did, because not only did everybody in the vicinity turn around to have a look, so did the lady running. Thankfully, she laughed. If that was you, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's wrong with my son. I shall beat him later. But we talked about anything and everything as we always do, and delightfully, because what doesn't make a walk a real treat than this, our primary conversation topic was poo, which I suppose with 2 children is not entirely a surprise. But we got on to talking to the most ridiculous, embarrassing things the kids had done when they were little. And I realised I had not 1, not 2, but 3 stellar poo stories between the 2 of them, which they laughed at and agreed that I could share. And I've shared these over the years on the blog, obviously a long, long time ago. But I thought if somebody needed a smile on this sunny Sunday, perhaps one of our poo stories, as we shall refer to them, might just bring a smile to your face. So I have three poo related stories, and I think every parent does have good poo related stories. I mean, there are more than this. There was the time when we were potty training Beth, and we were at my in-laws' house, and we were just getting ready for dinner, and we were all stood around the dining room table, and Beth suddenly sidled up to me and placed something in my hand. It was a poo. She'd put a poo in my hand. That was nice. So there are many, many stories, but these are probably, in no particular order, these are probably the top 3. So the first one was Jamie must have been very little, because it was before Beth was born, so I think he must have been about 2, probably. And I had arranged to go out for the evening, which those of you with young kids or who've had young kids in the past, you know what that's like. It's like on a Rarity with I don't even know what, the excitement of, oh my God, I'm going to leave the house for the evening and watch something other than see BBs, the excitement. So I was meeting up with 3 girlfriends. We were going down just to the local pub. It was nearly Christmas. I was feeling all festive. Mr. I Know I Need to Stop Talking was coming back from work on time. So it was always going well. And so I'd gone upstairs. We were in our old house at the time, and we had a large loft conversion with an ensuite. And I had put Jamie into the bath with a very little bit of water. And I always worry when I tell this story that people think I'm an irresponsible parent. So I must confirm the health and safety setup of this scenario. So he was in the bath, I was in the main room. The door to the bathroom was open. He was splashing around and chatting in the bath so I could hear him. I was straightening my hair, but for health and safety enthusiasts, the wire from the hair straighteners was not long enough to reach into the bathroom and fall into the bath. I always feel the need to over-explain myself when I tell that story, even though it's like now over 10 years on, I clearly still have the concern. So I was keeping an eye on him. He was happy as Larry, splashing around in the bath. All was well. So I'd done my hair, I'd done my makeup, I was just putting the finishing touches. I put on a nice outfit, and you know the excitement, right, when you haven't been out. I mean, to be fair, I went to the dump yesterday and probably had the same level of excitement as I did on that night out, which tells you all you need to know about my lockdown social life. Same for all of us, right? And so I was just putting the finishing touches when my stepdaughter arrived, and she must have been, don't know, maybe about 12, 13 at the time. She'd arrived and she'd been dropped off by her mum, and she came upstairs to say hi. And she said, "Oh, where's Jamie?" And I said, "Oh, he's in the bathroom. Go and say hi." And finishing off my hair, looking great, just getting my shoes out, sparkly shoes. I'm like, yes, it's going to be an amazing night. I just need to go downstairs, have a glass of wine. Mr. I know I need to stop talking. He's going to come home. And then night out. Can't wait. Party time. And my stepdaughter went into the bathroom, and then she walked very quickly back out again. And she was like looking at me, and she was like trying to suppress laughter. And I was like, "You all right?" She was like, "Have you been in it? Have you seen what's in there?" I could still hear, I could hear Jamie the whole way through. I was chatting to him, so I could hear he was absolutely fine. In fact, he sounded like he was having the time of his life. And I said, "No, is everything all right?" She said, "You need to go in there." So imagine, if you will, the scene as I put down my hair straighteners, and in my beautiful top with my beautifully straightened hair and my lovely sparkly makeup, I walked into the bathroom. I was met with what I can only describe as the world's dirtiest protest. Yes, Jamie, then aged 2, had, as kids often do at that age, taken a shit in the bath. In the absence of any parent telling him, "Don't play with your poo, Jamie, that's weird," he had desecrated my bathroom floor, my bathroom walls, and himself. He had smeared poo over his body, into his hair, onto the tiles of the bath, thrown it around the room. I cannot describe what my bathroom looked like or how bad it smelt. I mean, dear God. And I'm pretty strong-stomached, and when you have a kid, you become even more strong-stomached again. But there are some things even I bulk at. So I was like looking at him, and he's like laughing his head off, going, "Mummy," having the greatest time of his life. So I walked out there, and it's one of those times when I was thinking, "Oh God, I really want to be able to pass this off to the other parent, but Mr. I know I need to stop talking, we're still at work." And so it was left to me to remove my sparkly shoes and scrape my beautifully straightened hair up into top knot and try not to vomit as I painstakingly cleared up every last smear and nugget of excrement, and then rewashed the culprit himself. Yeah, that was a treat. That was an absolute treat. So that was poo story number 1. Poo story number 2 came when Beth was a little baby, and so Jamie would have been 3 probably now. The scene of this crime is once again my ensuite in the old house. To the people who bought that house, I'm really sorry. Hopefully you know none of this will ever cross your mind that it happened, but geez, it was grim. So scene was the bathroom, and I'd taken Beth into there to change her nappy, and I'd laid her onto the changing mat and was just doing her nappy and getting a change. And Jamie had come in because he loved babies, still loves babies, and he was quite fascinated. And also I was saying to him, "Oh, go and pass me a clean nappy, go and pass me a nappy bag," and getting the wipes out. So I got the nappy off Beth, and I sort of started cleaning her up, put it into and then I turned around, I think, to put the wipes in the nappy bag. And as I turned around, I heard from Jamie the the infamous words, "My God, Beth, what have you done?" And as I turned back round, like in slow motion, Beth had basically let loose with round 2 on the poo front, which was erupting out of her like lava. Jamie stood there like agog with a mixture of horror and awe. And as we both watched, Beth shoved her hand down between her legs, grabbed a great big handful, and rammed it in her mouth. So that was delightful, and I'm betting now there's not a parent out there amongst us who hasn't at least once Googled what happens if my baby eats poo, because let's be honest, they all do it, don't they? Grim little things that they are. So yeah, that was number 2. I think Beth became like Jamie's new idol that day. You could see him walking around with a newfound respect for her after that. But my absolute favourite, can you have a favourite grim poo story? Well, if I have a favourite grim poo story, it's probably this one. And this one was chronicled on the blog at the time, and I seem to recall went fairly viral way back before the blog was on Facebook or anything. So we were potty training Jamie, so he would have been 3, because I remember it well because I was pregnant with Beth, and the reason I remember that is after this event I was unable to drink wine to get over the whole experience, so that's why I remember it very well. So we were potty training Jamie. So we put him to bed, and we had the baby monitor on. And we heard him over the baby monitor going, "Mummy, Daddy, I need a poo. I need a poo." So great. It's really good that he was recognising that. So I went upstairs to the loft and put him, got him out of bed, put him on the potty. He did a poo. Brilliant. Well done. Good lad. Put a clean nappy on him, said goodnight, came downstairs. 20 minutes later, Mummy, Daddy, I need a poo, I need a poo. I was like, what? You just had a poo, just a massive poo. And it was at risk of too much information, although I feel we may have already crossed the TMI line. All these poos were like perfectly healthy. It was a perfectly healthy poo. So I was like, really? And he kept yelling. So I sent Mr. I know I need to stop talking up instead. I was like, right, go on, your turn. So he went upstairs and came out downstairs about 10 minutes later. And I said, did he need a poo? Because I thought, maybe he's trying that trick young kids do. Get your parents to go up. This is great crack. He said, no, he had a poo. So he'd gone to the toilet. He'd had his poo, put a nappy back on. Okay, fine. 20 minutes later. Mummy, Daddy, I need a poo, I need a poo. I was like, you are having a fucking laugh. And we wait a little bit longer because maybe he's trying it on. Wait a bit longer. No, he's still shouting. I'm like, okay, it's my turn. I'll go up. I'm like, Jamie, you don't need a poo. He's like, I do. Take him over to the potty. He does another poo. So we're on poo 3 now. I feel we need to keep a running tally chart on this conversation. He's on poo 3. He has a poo. I'm like, oh, he did. He's like, yeah. So we again put the poo into the toilet, put a clean nappy on. He gets back into bed, and he's like, I need another poo. I'm like, by this point, I'm not speaking to him. I'm like, what do you mean you need another poo? He's like, tell you what, you can watch. Oh, great, thanks, son. This is How to Spend a Wild Wednesday Night. He said, I'll get you your book. So he got me my book. I sat on the end of the bed with my book. He sat on the potty. He produced another poo. We're on poo number 4 at this point. I'm sitting there shaking my head going, I don't even understand how this is happening. He stands out, he's like, I've done another poo. I'm like, yes, good, well done. Lots of praise, important. Jamie's potty training journey was a long one, particularly the infamous night when he told me he needed a wee, then stood in the potty and wet himself standing up in his potty. That was a high. Anyway, so poo number 4. I'm like, okay. And then he goes to me, I'm going to put it in the toilet. And I'm thinking, okay, this is really good. This is good independence. Good for him to have independence. So I'm like, okay, fine. I said, be careful. He said, I'm going to be careful. So we're in the bathroom. He walks across the bathroom with the potty. He slips. The potty upturns and the poo goes flying who knows where. The poo is lost. I'm looking around. I'm like, where the fuck's the poo? Where's the poo? Where's the poo? He's like, I don't know where the poo is. I'm like, where's the poo? Where's the fucking poo? My bathroom's quite small. I'm like, how can you lose a poo? So I'm searching around the bathroom for this rogue poo that I've just seen fly across the room like some kind of baseball games going on with shit. And I'm searching. I've got my head underneath the cistern going, where the fuck is the poo? How can I lose a poo? Thinking I can't go downstairs and tell Mr. I know I need to stop talking. I've lost the fucking poo. Searching around. Then from behind my back I hear Jamie. I need another poo. I'm like, if I get up right now, I'm not going to be accountable for my actions. Fair play to him though. Sits down on the potty. He has another fucking poo. He walks over with the poo in the potty and a wee, which will become relevant in a moment. He slips on a patch of his own piss from the previous potty and he hurls the potty with a poo, another poo, a 5th poo, another fucking poo, and the wee into the air, and the poo lands in the middle of my back. And there's a little moment of silence at that point, while I wonder what the fuck has happened to my life. And then this little voice pipes up. They're a wee as well, Mummy. No fucking shit, son. No fucking shit. I think that was about the point when I really started to debate why people referred to potty training as quite such a good thing. So yeah, so those are our happy pooing stories. You'll be pleased to know the rogue poo was eventually found. Took me about 20 minutes to find it, but it had gone right down the back of the cistern. And what even is my life? Tell me this shit happens to other people. Please tell me it's not me. That is one of our happy family memories. Happy family memories. So I hope some of those have brought perhaps a smile to your face. As I say, it's about finding the little moments of happiness, I think. We're heading off walking. Well, Jamie and I are going to head off walking again this afternoon because the sun is out. And I have purchased a sweatshirt for Jamie, a hoodie for Christmas, which says on it, "We'll walk for Camembert." Because I've discovered with teenage boys it's really effective. You drag them out on a walk with the promise of a food they really like at the end of it. And I've mentioned before on here how much I fucking hate cheese, and particularly how much I fucking hate stinking cheese. And Camembert is one of the worst stinking cheeses of the lot. I have a particularly, whatever the opposite of fond is, that's what I have. It's not a fond memory, it's the reverse of a fond memory of my best friend James, who's the children's godfather, coming to stay a few years ago now, and he is also a great fan of stinking cheese. It might be where Jamie gets it from, to be honest, from having spent too much time with his godfather and stinking cheeses. And he had come down to stay, and we'd had far too much to drink and had loaded up the dishwasher, and I'd left James in charge of loading the dishwasher, which was a terrible, terrible error in hindsight. Got up the next morning and the whole fucking house stank. It was like a drain full of dead rats had exploded in there. I was like, what the fuck is that? Opened the dishwasher. Yeah, James had managed to put the remnants of the fucking camembert in the dishwasher on a boil wash. If you've ever wanted to know what hell smells like, I suspect it is boil washed camembert emanating around your house. That was horrific. So I will be making Jamie wear his Will Walk for Camembert hoodie. I will go the extra mile, because such is a mother's love that I will cook him his camembert when he gets home. But if he puts that fucker into the dishwasher, it is game over. It is game over. So yeah, we're going to be off walking, and then Beth has an interesting activity for me this afternoon, which she mentioned it in passing, and I kind of just ignored her because she's prone to random whims of fancy, but she's kept mentioning it ever since, so I feel like this is something I will not be able to get out of. Beth said to me last night, she's getting into bed, so tomorrow afternoon we can recreate the family photos. And I went, ha ha ha, yeah, what? She said, we can recreate the family photos. I said, I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. And she looked at me like I was an idiot and said, Mum, the ones we're not in, we'll recreate them so we can be in those photos. So I don't even fucking understand really what's going to happen to me this afternoon, but with Beth at the helm, you can assure, if nothing else, it will certainly be utterly fucking random. Have lovely Sundays, have lovely weeks if you're listening to this in the week. Look after yourselves, take care, don't be afraid to speak up and say things are a bit tough right now. There are green shoots, things are going to get better, we are going to get there. But it still feels like a bit of a fucking slog at the moment, and I totally get that. Look after yourselves, lots of love, stay safe, take care, bye bye.